Good morning, everybody. Good morning. Welcome back to the Daily Dose. It's a beautiful Wednesday. Number one, daily morning mastermind. We're gonna just hop right into it and get this thing started off with the verse of the day. Joshua 1:6-9. Be strong and courageous, because you will lead these people to inherit the land I swore to their ancestors to give them. Be strong and courageous. Be strong and very courageous. Be careful to obey all the law my servant Moses gave you. Do not turn from it to the right or to the left, that you may be successful wherever you go. Keep this book of the law always on your lips. Meditate on it day and night, so that you may be careful to do everything written in it. Have I not commanded you? Be strong and courageous. Do not be afraid. Do not be discouraged, for the Lord your God will be with you wherever you go. As I'm reading this and thinking about it this morning, I just think about how important it is to um just jump off the porch and take that leap of faith in whatever it is that we're trying to do. Right? It's not always going to be clear. It's not always going to be uh, easy, right? But like I said, keep the Bible close to you, right? There's definitely passages in there, verses in there that help you uh get through life, right? Especially when you start meditating on just God and who God is and what God can do, and what He already has done in your life, you know what I'm saying, or in my life. So that's just helping me today. Is what I've been thinking about, making sure I'm staying strong on that and just being strong and courageous in whatever I do. Anybody have any thoughts or comments on the verse for today? All right, perfect. So we'll just hop right into the business topic of the day. It's going to be knowledge management. Um, it's a few different things. So knowledge management is going to be about making sure you retain the knowledge that you have in your business, right? Making sure that you have a repository to capture all of the knowledge that's being uh, learned in your business, that's being shared in your business, because it's a few different things. What's a lot of different things that you'll learn. You're going to learn, number one, your processes. You're going to learn, the actual industry that you're in. You're going to be learning that more. You're going to be learning lessons from working with clients or customers. You're going to be learning how to use various technology, and you want to keep that all in a central place and not just having it in your head. I know you might have either been in a situation or heard of the situation where there's a corporation and there's one person who's been working for the corporation, and uh they got the most knowledge. So if they retired, literally the corporation was gonna have a hard time. Like, they still have to reach out to that person after they retire, right? Because that person just knew where everything was, just knew how to do certain things, right? But you don't want to start your business out, or you don't want to end up that way. So you want to make sure you start your business out keeping track of all the knowledge that's being passed down or learned in your business. So you got quick knowledge sharing platform. So if that's where you want to quickly reach out to somebody on your team, quickly get a question answered, that's Slack, that's Microsoft Teams, other instant messaging platforms that you can have um, tags in, right? Or you can have pinned channels that are specifically talks about certain topics, or you can quickly, like I said, reach out to a team member and ask a question. And then you have document management systems. That'll be more so like Google Drive, um, OneDrive, uh, those types of management systems to like just store documents, right? And that could be anything from manuals, that could be like client agreements, that could be business creation documents. You want to have those operating agreements, all of those types of things. You want to have a document management system so you can organize all of your documents and they go into the right space whenever you have those documents. Lessons learned. You want to always, after any project, after any uh situation. A lot of situations at work or in your business can be classified as a project. Want to make sure that after each of those that you go through a process, and that's what you call lessons learned, where you either, if it's yourself, you sit down and you think about like, okay, what was some lessons learned in this project. If it's a team, you know what I'm saying, you can do that via interview. You can add it as a closeout process, to where it's actually included in the closeout process of your business, or of that project, to whether you are gathering that information. And then you have knowledge based software. This is where all of the like uh, this would be like really like where everything will live, right? As far as going to get knowledge, if somebody needs to know anything about the software that you use, anything about how to handle a customer, anything about whatever, like a process or anything right there, that'll be either like on a software like the Confluence, SharePoint, or Notion. And another way to share knowledge or to manage knowledge is going to be shadowing. You know what I'm saying? Including shadowing opportunities for interns, for early employees, or even for later employees, right? Just getting that experience and getting that way to share knowledge is super important for growing and scaling a business. Anybody got any other ways that they typically uh, manage their knowledge? Nice. So that's gonna be, like I said, some key things that we want to consider whenever we are growing our business, starting our business, is to keep track of the knowledge that we are maintaining. We don't want it just to be all in our head. We want to get it out so that we can scale, hire people, we can grow our companies, and we don't have to work in the company every day. We can actually take a vacation in our own business, right? The next thing is going to be our self development topic for today, and that's going to be just celebrating personal wins. You always want to take some time to think about anything small or big that you celebrate. And I feel like you should do this at least. I'll try to do it at least once a day, because it's always opportunity for you to acknowledge something that you won. I don't feel like we go a whole day without doing something that could be considered a personal win, right? We all have bad moments that happen throughout days, you know what I'm saying? But even in those times, we can bring something good out of there, and we can still celebrate a personal win, right? And it could be something as little as like personally not eating any processed foods for a day, right? That's something I've been trying not to do, is eat a lot less processed foods, whether that's chips, or anything really processed, right? So just eat more whole foods. But you want to think about those things, and that could be, like I said, getting up on time, whatever it is, going to sleep on time. You know, whatever it is that you want to consider a personal win, you just want to take the time to acknowledge that and celebrate yourself, because life can get hard and it's not easy to just keep going every day. But you want to know that you are still doing positive things to yourself, and you're celebrating yourself, because you are super, super important. Tanisha put in the chat, she agree. Growing at least 1% per day is the goal. Definitely good to celebrate small daily wins, because they compound into big wins. Exactly. And then also, if you don't never acknowledge them, you won't never know exactly what you have accomplished, right? So that's just key to always keep in your head, to know what you have done, what you are doing, right? And you can always keep that front of mind. Anybody had anything to say on celebrating personal wins? Quay put in the chat, just starting off meetings with a partner, talking about the personal wins that we have in our life. You know what I'm saying? Starting off meetings with positive notes, just going over there and then celebrating each other, right? Because that's a huge key as well, is to doing that, making sure that we can celebrate ourselves and also celebrate other people. Just knowing what other people close to you are doing and accomplishing that makes them feel great, right? So that's super important, major key.
Good morning.
Good morning.
I would also add in making sure that while you're celebrating like your daily wins or the things that happen, um, and being reflective to acknowledge those areas where you have grown. And then also protecting when because the people that are around us, they tell us for because they love us. But the people around us may not always necessarily see the small growth. And so they may continue to say, hey, I still see that, you got to work on this. And I'll use um, panicking as an example or not making things overwhelming for yourself. So that's one thing that I've heard constantly. But in those moments where there's like high stress or anything like that, I recognize and I celebrate myself and honoring that. I don't respond the way I used to respond. And and so I see the growth and I know the growth, but then the next day I get a response that says, hey, you got to work on this. And so I protected that win and I said, I appreciate what you're saying, but I also need you to understand and see that this is not the same response that I used to give. So celebrating yourself, but then also you have to point it out to other people in order to keep, because sometimes we may hear that criticism and say, oh, well, I thought I was doing good. Well, now I'm not. But celebrate that and then bring that to other people's attention when they try to say, hey, you still need to work on this.
Definitely, definitely. Major key. Um, major key. Major key. So I appreciate that. Um, and then Mike, you put in the chat, it's important to celebrate yourself for the important milestones you reach. And that's why it's important to set goals for ourselves. We don't got no personal goals, then we just floating through life aimlessly. And there's no measurables that we can hit that we can boost ourselves to. So definitely want to make sure that we always stay with personal goals so that we can achieve those goals and then move on to the next goal, right? And celebrate them. So yeah, celebrate personal wins are huge things. It boosts confidence. Number one, it increases gratitude, and then it also allows you to reflect on, like Christina said, the things that you have been working on that you are getting better at. So they definitely want to incorporate that, I would say, into a daily routine. And then following up, we're just gonna hop into the Black History figure of the day. Like I said, try to tie that back in to the verse of the morning. So this guy, Robert Smalls, he was a maritime pilot, which means he drove ships as a slave. That was his role. So actually, he was able to earn a decent amount of money doing that as a slave, but he tried to buy his family's freedom, and they didn't let him. Right? They was like, no. But so that sparked something in him that he was like, I'm just gonna take this whole ship and I'm gonna free myself and my family regardless. So he did that. He organized a group of people and did that, took over a Confederate ship, and it had to be super strategic. He had to learn the Confederate hand signals and everything like that, so that he could get past certain checkpoints and navigate the ship all the way to Union waters. And then he not only, like I said, not only free his family, but free others as well. And he definitely had to be strong and courageous to even to do something like that, right? To want to first of all buy your freedom, and then the second of all, when it wasn't granted, to take it in your own hands and do it yourself. So definitely want to shout out Robert Smalls. It's a huge feat. Um, anybody have any comments about him or anything that we touched on today?
Nah, I just gotta say that's real gangster right there. I'm gonna have to check it to my boy.
Facts, facts, and that's why I be liking to just learn different things about people that's done some amazing things because we don't always hear about. Well, we typically always hear about the same people, so just want to kind of bring out the forefront other people who have done some pretty cool stuff. So shout out to him. But yeah, if that's it, we'll just go ahead and wrap it up for today. Hope everybody have a blessed Wednesday. Hope everybody continue to have a great rest of the week. Um, you know, yeah. So I'll see you tomorrow, 7 a.m.